It's going to be a heavy NBA episode as the bubble teams are all back in the conference finals. We got the NBA draft lottery and Mr. Brown and Canadian Biggie are about to make a trip. This is the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the We Don't Know Sports podcast. This is Chad the Mark with
Mr. Brown
and
Canadian Biggie.
And we got a fun show, but we're actually going a day early here recording because you guys got a little something going on this weekend.
Yeah, we heading to the ATL Friday morning early. We wanted to be prepared fully for that road trip. Rented a van from Enterprise, me and Canadian Biggie and the families, both families, jumping in this minivan. We'll be there for the Mariners series.
So we got a lot to talk about, with NBA playoffs going on. We got a little movie conversation we're going to do later, but let's just stop there for a second and talk about the trip. So you've been to Atlanta. You've been to the new ballpark several times. Biggie, you've been once? Correct?
Once last year when we went down.
Was it 2 games or one you went to?
You guys caught 2 games. We were only able to make it down for one. It was Braves Brewers, saw Corbin Burns pitch.
Right.
Ended up being a Braves win like the bottom of the 8th, 3-2. It was a real good game. I liked our seats because we could see the Brewers bullpen. So I got to watch Burns warm up pregame. And I'm a nerd. When you're an absolute stud, I like watching you pregame. I like to see what you do, what pitches you throw, how much
What's the
do you
prep,
maneuver.
the mannerisms, all that. How do you prep for this?
Yep.
Not completely off topic, but pregame prep work. Did you see Zach Gallen kill the bird?
I read about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Have I not seen it?
Randy Johnson 2.0.
2.0, but somebody shared that in our fantasy baseball text group, and I just said, the cover song is never quite as good as the original.
Correct.
So that's where we're at there. But so the ATL ballpark, it's not downtown anymore. It's out in the Battery. I hear you always talk about how great it is with all the surrounding area, because to me, on the surface, I'd be like, man, this is dumb. Why do they put it all the way up in Smyrna or wherever it's at? Because, you go to downtown ballparks and you got everything in walking distance.
I couldn't understand that when they had moved because Turner wasn't that open wasn't that old when they decided that.
Yeah, they built it for the 96 Olympics.
Yeah. When they decided to build a new stadium, until I went down last year. Miss Brown had told me about being down there and the setup, but I understand why they went to the new ballpark and where they built it at, because typically when you go to a game, you're crossing traffic, getting into the stadium, that kind of thing. For 3 or 4 blocks around the stadium, there are no cars allowed. It's nothing but restaurants. There's an open area. Kids throw balls. There's music. It is awesome. It's an entire experience. Clark Griswold's going to Wally World.
Yes.
You're going down to the ADL. You're catching a ton of stuff. They got those one guys down there to play the cups.
Right? Yeah.
Dude, it's a whole experience. I've never been.
Play the cups?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
There's a little middle section where there's restaurants and different places you can get beverages at, and they'll play cups with their hands and then walk around with little drums on them and play a beat.
It's a drum beat.
I wasn't sure if they were playing a game or playing a mute song.
Yeah.
Well, it's whenever you think of football, we always think about go early and tailgate. And I haven't been to a lot of MLB parks in the last, 7-8 years. But it has a tailgate feel to it of an NFL game.
Imagine
Or a college game.
Imagine getting there at 11 a.m. for a World Series game that starts at 8 o'clock, and you're doing your Bloody Marys and your what's the champagne and
mimosa?
Yes, I did not like it.
Pinkies up, bitches.
Yeah, I double fisted a mimosa, and I was like, nah, let's switch to the IPA.
Yeah, what time? It doesn't matter.
Exactly. But real quick, so that's the fan perspective. So you all, Biggie's first time getting to see the Mariners live. He'll be there in Atlanta. You're a Reds fan.
I'm 41 years old. My favorite baseball team my entire life has been Seattle Mariners. As a kid, I lived in North Dakota. I fell in love with Ken Griffey Jr. This will be the first time I've ever seen the Mariners play live. I've got shirts for each day. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I brought extra underwear for the first pitch.
I got bad news. Griffey's not. He's not going to be in the lineup.
He should be.
I just saw him at the World Baseball Classic. You mean he's not hitting those bombs still?
Right.
I'm glad you get to go. So it's who they playing? Braves, Mariners, I'm high. Forgive me. Here's my question, just real quick before we move off the stadium.
I had a point I didn't get to finish.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, finish your point.
No, real quick. I'm just saying that was the fan perspective. From the financial perspective, a Mariners fan, a Reds fan, think about this. So the Braves have been creeping up in payroll for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It steadily went up. Liberty Mutual says, guess what? We'll keep putting in the product because when the season's not playing, people still spend money at the Battery, and the Braves own the Battery.
So that was the question I was going to ask. Is like when the games aren't going on, and it's like an away game.
They do the big screen down there at the Battery. Not only that, in December in Atlanta at the Battery, they're making money. There might not be the money on game day, but you're still reeling in money.
It's still a place to go,
right? Like for a Friday night,
because it's still a pretty populated area. All right, just because it's not downtown doesn't mean it's out in the sticks.
Very populated. You got different shops down there.
The highway runs right by.
Right.
You got nice restaurants. You got the baseballism stores down there.
So I guess my point is, think about your team making merch all year long.
Yeah.
So your payroll is going to go up.
This is the future of stadiums.
Well, if you got the area and the demographics split off, you're probably right. The other point of that, too, is even when they're downtown, that's kind of the benefit, right? Is even when there's a game not going on, if you're close to the stadium, it becomes an epicenter of activity. So
they're like 15 miles from the heart of Atlanta.
Yeah. But it can work it can work in certain towns like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Well, you're telling me Dodgers fans wouldn't love not getting killed in the parking lot, or is that Giants fans?
But
build the same thing.
Kill or be killed is kind of how that works. But it's still not like anywhere near the city. Like it's way out.
No, it's way out there.
Way out there. So it works sometimes, but could you imagine if they put like the Mets or the Yankees in New Jersey?
That would be
yeah.
I could see the Mets going to New Jersey.
The Mets can go.
The Mets and the Nets.
So we were talking about
both go to.
Hey, we were talking about tailgating, and I don't know if you guys remember because you're such Chicago Bulls fans. This is my segue into the NBA. You like this? This is good. Do you remember the Sports Illustrated videos you could get if you subscribed? You get Michael Jordan's like "Come Fly with Me." Do you remember that video? They also had the ones when they won championships, and the one from 1992 was called Untouchables. Do you remember that one?
I do not right off.
So that's the one where they're playing the Trailblazers, Jordan with the shrug and all that stuff. What we're talking about tailgating is NBA, now taking us to finals, is 1992. These Blazer fans, there's like grills set up in the parking lot, and they're throwing steaks on the grill, and they're like, Blazers gonna smoke them Bulls. But I'm like, when's the last time you've seen or witnessed like NBA tailgating? Is that a thing? I don't know. Like we're
never in my life have I thought of the NBA and tailgating. I've never thought of college basketball and tailgating. Basketball and tailgating are not two things I ever put together.
But why? What's the difference?
Well, because football, it feels like
because you're already outside. You're playing outside.
Well, it's a once a week event, so you can plan your whole day for it. Whereas basketball and baseball, there's so many games played. Are you really got a diehard fan that's tailgating at home 3 times a week?
I don't know. Would you ever tailgate at an NBA game?
Yeah, I probably would. It'd be my first one.
Why not? Christen it in style.
Right.
Pop the seal. So with the conference finals going on, these are guys not popping the seal, said in the intro roll. We're basically repeating the bubble season, but no bubble. So hopefully we get a different result. That's my hope.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Stop me.
We are not repeating the bubble season for all you LeBron motherfuckers who want to say because the Heat are in the conference finals, guess the bubble wasn't a joke. Fuck you. You know where the Heat were last year? The conference finals. You know where the Celtics were last year? Conference finals. You know where the Nuggets were last year? In the playoffs. Injured. No Porter. No Jamal Murray.
No.
They were the 1 seed. Best record in the league. Don't try lumping your Mickey Mouse fucking LeBron title in with this bullshit. Appreciate what's there.
So there's clearly one here that doesn't look like the rest.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, but with the Miami situation, we were talking before the show. What was their probability to just even get by Boston?
I read it was 3%.
Not to win the whole thing, just to win this series?
Correct.
Holy crap.
That seems really low to me.
I feel like the three of us could have a 3%.
That was an ESPN stat. Like, to me, I think it should be like 30% or 35%. beginning of the series.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team. It's battle tested. I know they're an 8 seed.
But they're NBA players.
Wow.
And this is playoff Jimmy.
It is. Playoff
Let's
Jimmy's
stop
good.
with the 8 seed thing. Them and the Lakers were both the 7 seed when the season ended. In the regular playoffs, before this gimmick shit, they'd have been the 7 seed. Now with the play-in, the Lakers are a play-in team. And since Miami lost to Atlanta at home and then had to beat the Bulls, they're the 8 seed. They're both 7 seed, a couple games out of 6. Don't give me the play-in gimmick.
I didn't mean any disrespect.
Well, you disrespected me.
I thought they were a low seed. That's all I know. I can't keep track of these funky rules they keep coming up with.
I will say this. Their finals team, Eastern Conference finals team from last year to this year, they got 2 guys playing that were in the D-League, Gabe Vincent, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one. You got Jimmy, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro broke his hand in the first round, so I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a nice run, but it's a team. So since 2005, who's been to the conference finals the most in the NBA?
Since 2005?
Clearly the Heat.
9 times in 18 seasons.
Wow.
9 times in 18 seasons since 2005. So don't give me this gimmick and it's the bubble season means this.
We talked about it last week,
franchise.
though. Eric Spoelstra's like the program of the NBA.
Yes.
He's like the Mark Few, the Tom
He's
Izzo, the Bill Self.
He's the only guy LeBron couldn't get fired.
Exactly. True. Right.
That's
That
good.
is the best statement you've ever made.
If you want to know how good a coach Spoelstra is, he's the only one that had that.
Yeah.
But, beside the point with all the stuff with the seeding and everything, I think we got the right teams here as far as who's been playing well, like coming into the playoffs through the first couple rounds. Like, I feel like they're pretty even matchups, but I feel like it's probably a 6-game series on both sides. And I think it's
I would think it's around a 6-game series. I would be shocked if Boston doesn't beat the Heat. On the other side, Lakers or Nuggets, either one wins wouldn't surprise me.
And it is crazy that these are the 4 best teams that are playing, because how do you have 2 play-in teams in both leagues at the same time playing? like Nuggets and Celtics are both the number 1s, right?
Come on.
Celtics are the 2.
Wow.
You know why?
It's crazy to me.
Scripted, baby.
Yeah.
It's telling them apart to play.
But this is the toughest, most athletic league there's ever been. A 7 seed can't do that.
Oh, they can if we tell them to.
Oh, okay.
I'm being facetious, obviously, but they're. We could talk about the NBA draft and how all that stuff.
We got to jump into these finals.
They're gonna save Popovich's job, but all right. So on the,
I'm going to give you one last LeBron before you move on.
I have another.
All night
Can I go
long.
first?
You can go
Just
first.
because I feel like yours
first,
is going to be
go
something
first.
to close on like a hammer. When LeBron James is in a 7-game series and they win game 1, they're 27-2.
Damn, that's impressive.
So the fact they didn't win last night, that just right there. If he wins that game, they probably win the series. But he doesn't, so now it feels a little different. And how in the hell did that game get so close?
I'd like to talk about the game while y'all shitting on LeBron, but if we can keep shitting on that,
I wasn't shitting on him. I just had that really cool stat. So
yeah.
I was proud of that.
No, I mean, it's the Nuggets are turning the favorite. They're turning the tide here. I mean, I don't know. Biggie had a huge stat here. Yeah. LeBron hating.
You want to know what I was going to go with?
big
And
pile.
this is straight LeBron hating. Is the game was played at the Nuggets pace, and that's why it was 132-126. What I was going to say is that I get tired of LeBron's a GOAT. All game long, he's abusing Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. in the post, taking him to the bucket. He's either getting a layup or he's going to the foul line. But when they come back, they're 3 points down, fourth quarter, 45 seconds left. He's missed 2 out of 4 free throws, so he doesn't want to go to the line, so he settles for a 3. 45 seconds in an NBA game is an eternity. He hasn't made a 3 in the game. He's shooting 26% in the playoffs. It's a horrible shot. That's go in, get the bucket, get the foul, but he's afraid to go to the line. Then he tries to go fancy between the legs, gets it stolen from him. That's the only thing I was going to say. I felt like the Lakers adjusted well with Rui, and I'm really interested to see what they do in game 2, because once they switched him on to Joker more, it didn't make a difference in Joker stats. Yeah, but it made a difference in game flow. And the other thing, even though they lost, AD was amazing.
You let into so much I'm getting ready to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like,
dude, AD is the best
he
defensive
didn't
big
really
man
shit on it.
in
that
the
was a
league.
good analysis. That was fair. and I felt like unbiased for once. That was good.
So listen to this. For one, a few observations from last night. I didn't realize how fast the Nuggets played. Every time you turn around, it's a fast break.
Yep.
And you have crazy 7'1" Plummer out there leading the charge, and he fits right in. It might look ugly when he does it, but he executes. Like, the stats he had in the first quarter blew my mind yesterday, but you talked about AD. AD, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. AD showed up to play. Like, as much as we shit on AD for not being healthy,
He showed up
and there's a few times Joker went up, he was just like swatting his ass out of there.
Yep.
But the Joker, 34 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists, 3 blocks, I believe, 2 or 3 blocks. But the dude was in the middle of everything. It was mayhem.
Yep.
And like at halftime, they're talking in the studio, and they look at Jalen Rose, and they're like, Jalen, what do you do? What do you do with AD? Do you start doubling on the Joker? And he's like, no, I go to AD if I'm the coach and say, win that matchup. And I'm like, oh, it's that easy? You don't think he's not trying to win that matchup?
Maybe.
Thanks, Jalen. I'm like, really? That's all you're going to tell the guy?
After that, he's going to tell the whole team, let's win one for the Gipper.
It's going to be like that fan you never cleaned. I'm sorry, boss. I'm tired. That's what happened in that first half. Boom.
I feel like that matchup back and forth between the Joker and AD was just beautiful because they both played out of their mind. And AD is the best defensive big man in the league when he's on his game. Joker's the best offensive game. AD gave him everything he had, and the Joker still threw out crazy.
So prediction, throughout the playoffs, you have good AD and bad AD. So you're usually, 2 games of good AD, then 1 bad game.
And they've already withstood one of those.
So you're really, you almost feel like you're up 2-0 with that being the case.
Because you win in one of those games.
I could be wrong. AD could ball out, man. He could change the narrative and rise to the occasion.
I think best case for the Lakers, it's Lakers or Nuggets in 6.
Okay.
In 6, and I think that it could be Nuggets in 5.
All right, so you don't think – so I said 6. I also
think that's best case for the Lakers.
So you think they might get swept?
No, I think it's Nuggets in 5.
Okay. So you're leaning more toward the 5 games. What do you think, Biggs?
I look at I'm going to say 6 games. I'll give LeBron benefit of the doubt as one of the great players of all time that he can lead his team to a couple wins. But when you look at the Nuggets play last night, the Lakers are the best defensive team in the league. They play 90s basketball. They don't shoot a ton of threes because they're not good at it.
So
they
much
beat you
pick
from
and
inside
roll.
out, pick and roll. They play great defense. What happened last night? They got blew out of the gym. And even when they adjusted in the second half, the Nuggets still scored 132 points. You had to take D'Angelo Russell, who was really good in the last series, didn't see the floor the last 30 minutes. You put Schroeder in. If not for Rui and Austin Reeves having big games, you're not close.
Yeah. I mean, I also think the style the Nuggets play is going to wear them down.
Yeah.
Because they move constantly.
It is so fast.
Like,
that's why I was texting you guys last night. I was texting Jeremy too. The Nuggets, so on a made basket, Joker takes it out. He puts 1 foot out of bounds and he's looking to throw it.
Yeah.
And what, like 2 out of 3 times when he would inbound it, there'd be him, 2 Lakers underneath the bucket, and it'd be a 4-on-3 for the Nuggets.
well, anytime they even get a rebound, they immediately try to get it to him because everybody else is faster than he is. They're running down court. And he's the guy with the ball. Any other team, it's the opposite. Like, you don't want that. But with him, and it's so different because you're defending it different than you are anybody else in the league, really.
The other thing, too, about last night, the Lakers make a push at the end of the first half. Joker hits a 3 at the buzzer to put them up like 10 or 11 at the half. And AD's just smiling because he did all he could there. But I saw that play, and that was like, Joker's not a shit talker in the media, but if he were, that was his... I'm the league MVP. You should have gave it to me.
3-peat, right?
Yep.
If he would have had, 0.2 more assists, would they have given it to him?
No.
Because then it wasn't like 26,
Voter
12,
fatigue.
and 9.8 assists.
Hey, meanwhile in Philly, they had Embiid's MVP parade today, and not even the pigeons showed up.
Why you got to kick a man while he's down? Did you see Dwight Howard trying to recruit Doc Rivers to come coach in Shanghai or wherever he's at?
I did see Dwight Howard say that there's only one thing that can control the Joker, and it's not Batman.
It's not Dwight Howard either.
He thinks he's Superman still.
It's because he's over there playing with a bunch of people that are 5'8".
Yeah.
But
They're like, really? You think you're still Superman?
So he
got blown up on that comment.
you wanted to bring up Philly and Biggie. How do you feel? I feel like you've been like I don't know what the right word is. What would you describe your relationship with Doc Rivers?
A realist. Because
You mean the 16-time in a row winning a season coach, right?
You mean the guy who got carried to a title by pros like Paul Pierce, Ray Allen,
No.
Ray
The guy that
Giancarlo,
elevated
and
those
KG,
guys.
and has rode that one title to a bunch of losses when he should have won. Like, you had Lob City 3-1 against Houston. That was a complete
He won
failure.
more than he lost with the Clippers, man. Give him some credit.
Ty Lue's doing the same thing.
It was the first time that ever happened, though. He broke the mold.
Doc Rivers, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it should be on his headstone. Here lies the man who took what should have been great and made it good.
Gotcha. So, what?
Having said all that,
where does he go then? Where's he going to
if
go?
I were the
next?
Sixers and I were running that franchise, I'd let James Harden walk and I'd keep Doc Rivers. Because Doc,
Really?
Embiid, turn it over to
Everybody fired
Maxey.
I know, but that's amazing.
did.
He would say that.
I would have kept Doc. Dude, as much as I hate on Doc, you can't win a game 7 when you
Isn't
went
that
through
his
the
hometown?
playoffs. Embiid
Philly's
was
his
9
hometown,
points
is
per
it?
game less.
Yeah. He came up with Maurice Cheeks.
9 points per game less than he did the rest of his MVP season. And James Harden completely quit in that game 7.
James Harden, man, I don't know. It's just
James Harden to me pisses me off because
You
people
don't need
watch
to
the
do
NBA today call him a first ballot Hall of Famer and he's this and he's that. Guy is the guy at the Y League that you don't want to have on your team because you're never going to pass.
He needs to just go back to Houston and just ball out and get the stats he wants and run right off in the sunset.
Give me the glitter.
hang the rafters.
He don't want victories. He just wants stats.
Yep.
So let him go to Houston and be the man for another half decade,
He
and
can be
then call it a career.
That's Houston's new legacy. Guys like T-Mac and Harden, they can't win with, but you know what? They scored a lot of points, so we liked them.
We like to make it fancy.
When you analyze everything he just said about Doc Rivers is right. He'll make something great, very good. So there's a couple openings. The Bucks fired their coach. The Suns fired their coach. Man, those seem like perfect fits for Doc to slide in and do that exact thing.
The Suns is a perfect fit for him.
For Doc?
Yep.
And how long does Milwaukee's coach be without a job?
Well, I think he's getting hired.
You think he'll go to
And-
Philly?
Yep.
Really?
I heard somebody else already said that, and I can't remember who.
Budenholzer, Frank Vogel, Monty Williams, and there's Nick Nurse. 3 of those 4 guys I just named won a title in the last 5 years and got fired. Nick Nurse should probably have his choice of jobs.
Yep.
You hear that they're interviewing in Milwaukee.
J.J. Redick.
Mark Jackson.
Oh.
J.J. Redick.
He was
No,
one too.
J.J. Redick's
He
going
was
to get
one too.
hired.
What?
The most white
I think they interviewed him
collar
in Philly.
whatever hire ever. Yeah. He's getting a job.
I like how these guys
So-
cannot be anywhere around the game and just like on TV, and they're like, "Yeah, they're going to be a coach."
Mark Jackson and Doc Rivers swap. Doc goes and calls games, and Mark Jackson goes to the sideline.
Yep, there you go.
How you feel about that?
I feel like Mark Jackson's style of basketball is very outdated, and that's why he hasn't been rehired. I look at the Warriors and what they had and what immediately happened when Steve Kerr came in and went away from iso ball and sharing it. Steph Curry is close to being on the Mount Rushmore of basketball.
So what you're telling me, it's not a Tony Dungy, John Gruden situation.
knee.
So, who's the worst coach then? Doc Rivers or Mark Jackson? Is that
Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson
Oh.
stay away completely.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
What about Van Gundy?
Stan or Jeff?
Jeff.
I would. So.
Come out of the booth. It'd be like in the Royal Rumble when like the Bradshaw would enter and he'd come out from announcing.
He's so like animated on everything. You think he would like? Yeah, I don't know. But his brother keeps getting the damn jobs.
Stan
Ron Jeremy
God, I
is,
can't stand
aged
Stan
very
Van
well.
Gundy.
What'd you say?
Stan Van Gundy, I cannot stand that guy.
Speaking of Dwight Howard earlier, he used to do a really good impression of Van Gundy. It was good.
I love that press conference where he's shitting all over Van Gundy, and then Van Gundy comes in not knowing that Dwight Howard just shit all over him, and they're talking about moving forward, and Van Gundy's trying to give Dwight all this props, and then they tell him what he just said when they were with the Magic. Sorry. Back when they were in the finals against the Lakers a long time ago. Move on to something else.
I just want to make sure we're covering the East. We all think Celtics are winning.
If the Celtics don't win, it's going to suck because we could have had Joe Mazzulla coaching WVU, but it won't happen this year.
I think the Celtics 5 or 6. It's hard for me to say,
but they're going to get there.
I'll be honest with you. I would bet each one of you $10 that the Celtics win the title this year.
I will say this in Biggie's best
I'll
intro.
say this.
Yes. I feel like Jimmy Butler's a bigger dog. Obviously, he should be than LeBron at this point in his career. So I feel like if Jimmy could steal 2 games, whereas LeBron probably is only going to get the 1.
I'll say this. I didn't really have anything else. I just wanted to do it too because that was the cool thing. All of a sudden,
Makes you feel
Dropkick
good.
it
Murphys.
does. I feel good. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But real quick before we jump off the NBA, did Greg Popovich just have his job saved by sheer luck?
Well, I feel like he's got a contract for life type setup
Yeah, I
there.
agree with that.
Yeah, but at what point do you walk away too because it's miserable?
He's 74 years old. I think what they do is he coaches 1 year with Wembanyama, and they see what his progression is, and then Pop goes year to year. If Pop coaches more than 2 more seasons, I would be amazed. Wembanyama, where he wanted to go, where his entire country wanted him to go, was San Antonio because of the connection to Tony Parker and France back in the day. They all wanted him to land there. That's where he's landed. Now, this is the second time in Pop's career, and he fired his head coach last time when he was GM so he could step in when they got Tim Duncan. Now he gets Wembanyama. The Spurs have had a under 300 or 30% winning percentage 3 seasons in the history of the franchise. Each time, next season,
Number 1.
David Robinson, Tim Duncan, now Wembanyama. They know how to tank.
They do. It's an art form.
7'4", 7'9" wingspan.
Yeah.
Can shoot threes one-handed, and
Is he going to be good?
he also plays defense.
Is he going to be good?
I think
Make a
that he's
prediction.
gonna-
Make a prediction right now. Tell me how many All-Star games and yes or no in Hall of Fame.
I'm going to say yes on the Hall of Fame right now. This is no Greg Oden.
Okay.
I'm going to say that
With that being said, 12 All-Star games at minimum.
That's a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
I was going to say 10 All-Star games, and I'll put him in the Hall of Fame.
If he makes
because
10 All-Star
he's
games.
already playing against other pros. He's the best prospect since
Breast.
LeBron James.
But will
Breast.
he be the best?
Breast.
Will he have the most three-pointers ever by a 7'4" player?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Will he beat Mark Eaton
The one thing I wonder about
Mark
him is
Eaton
the
might
same
come-
thing.
from the dead?
Same thing I wonder about Ronnie James whenever he gets to the NBA, which seems like he will. There's so much outside. I think the NBA guys, they're all going to put a target on his back.
Oh, I just envisioned Mark Eaton climbing out of a casket like Undertaker. Sorry.
Casket match.
We ain't dead yet.
Took us to a dark place there all of a sudden.
Where's Mr. Sacco?
I don't. Who lives up to the hype? Like LeBron did, but a lot of guys don't. And I don't mean just NBA, just in general. And
Markel Fultz.
it's hard to be really good. It helps when you're 7'4", but like, is he going to be a more imposing player than like a Giannis is, or somebody? I'm not saying this is style, but I just also worry about a guy like that. Is he going to be like Yao Ming and break down because he's too big?
Well, think about this though. So Yao had some meat on the guy. Like he could stay in the post with Shaq to an extent.
Yeah.
But this guy, think about him as he's more a more athletic. He's thin, so version of like Dirk. Like he's 3 inches taller than Dirk, 3 or 4 inches.
You know what?
But he
changed my mind.
shoots.
You changing your mind? Why?
He's going to be an absolute bust, and we'll remember Greg Popovich as a product of Hall of Famers as opposed to a great head coach.
Control your narrative.
Yeah.
I like it. So who's going to be a bigger bust? We'll close on this. Zion Williamson or this guy's name?
Wembanyama.
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 Because Wembanyama is already projected to be better than LeBron James.
No.
No, dude, listen up. I'll send you what Adrian Wojnarowski.
No, I've seen
it.
it.
They're putting him out there as he's supposed to. If he's not Rookie of the Year next year on the All-Star team, he's a disappointment.
He's the biggest can't miss prospect since LeBron, but then he said no, he's probably the best ever. But that don't mean I don't think that means he's going to be the best ever NBA player.
Just best prospect.
I got it. Well, I did watch him shoot a 3-pointer in a professional men's game in France. Awkward. And when it hit the back of the rim and it got dunked in, I realized he shot the 3, missed it, and tipped it in. Dunked it in.
From where? Was it still almost a 3?
Three arms reach away.
It went up. He realized it was a little off. He ran to the rim. He grabbed it, dunked it in.
Some bitch took one step.
Yep.
Freaking
the Euro step.
Looks like a
from the 3-point line.
Can we call him the pterodactyl?
Yes.
That'd be a good name.
Seen that Bill Russell video where he takes one dribble from half court and lays it in?
Yes.
Wembanyama did that. Great. One step from the 3-point line, middle finger, poof.
You heard it here first. He'll be better than Bill Russell, according to Biggie. All right, so you guys are going to watch a baseball game this weekend, which there's nothing better than that, but you know, I don't know, how many games? We're like 40 games into the season, something like that.
Well, 40, 45, depending on where you're at.
So, Mr. Brown, you're our resident baseball guy. America's pastime for love of baseball shout out there, where hundreds and hundreds of baseball pros are in there sharing their knowledge, but just your knowledge on the season so far. What's been kind of the craziness? Anything that's really unexpected to you that's persisted that, you know, now we're not just in the month of April, so what's your take so far?
There's been a few things. How every team in the AL East has been 500 or better. That's crazy. I knew the bases were bigger. I knew you had the balk rule and the pickoffs. I did not realize steals were going to increase at this rate.
That's awesome, though. I like that.
So to me, you're kind of bringing back the 80s style baseball, and you have a dude on the A's, Ruiz, as bad as the A's are, he's got 18 steals. He's on pace for 70. And then Acuna is on pace for, I think, 35 home runs and 67 steals.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, but like it's like reminds me of the old Cardinals. Only now there's power too. But I would have never imagined the bases would make that big of a difference.
Well,
the other part of it that
pickoff rule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now you know you're going to go.
Yep.
But the Pirates, huge surprise. I don't know where they are. They've kind of started to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, falter a little bit.
I saw them last Saturday. But great. That's what's great about it. You have a great April, and you see a whole city and fan base energized because I took my son there last Saturday.
Yeah, how was the crowd?
It was almost sold out. And on top of that, people on the streets 5 hours before a game in Pittsburgh, excited for the Pirates again. Bringing out their, like, Willie Stargell jerseys.
That doesn't seem right.
So you went impact on rule changes and players, which is perfect, because what I had in my mind was teams, and the Pirates was one of them. As battle as they had that 7-game losing streak, still 23-20. They're a game out of first place in the Central.
Yeah, but they're still over 500.
No, I get it.
The Diamondbacks being 6 games over 500 is pretty surprising to me. I don't want to last. The Pirates I really enjoy. The other ones are in the American League. Last year we had the Orioles pop up. They ended up fizzling out at the end of the season.
It's for real.
They're for real. I love it. Baseball in Baltimore is great.
It's better when for baseball and the Orioles are good.
I think so. That's a beautiful. It's like Pittsburgh, right?
I think I'm squeezing it in the summer.
It's like Pittsburgh, beautiful ballpark.
Right.
I know you really like the Rangers coming into the season.
I said it.
Yep.
They're right there with DeGrom barely pitching, injured.
But you add in freaking Bochy, that calming influence into that clubhouse, it changes things. He treats them like professionals, but he expects them to act that way.
And then the other two things I was going to bring up. One, it sucks to say this because they're in my division, but the Angels are 500 through 45 games. For Trout or Ohtani to make a playoff push would be spectacular, I think. It sucks so badly to have Trout be so great and never get on that stage. And the other thing, we all agree that the AL Central was going to really suck, but the fact that there's only one team above 500 at this point is pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
I kind of expected that.
I know, but we thought there's 5 teams. Only one of them has a winning record.
I would have never imagined the White Sox were going to be that bad.
Yeah.
That's god awful.
Yeah.
But we knew that division's it is what
Dog
it is.
shit.
Oh, and the other
you
thing,
know the Royals and the Tigers are going to suck.
Yeah.
I'm huge
And then
on the
the
Padres
Guardians.
coming into the season. We all talked about
Who?
them and Padres and where they sit.
That brought me to my next thing real quick. So the team I wanted to talk about was the Dodgers. Big surprise, really. I get it. They're atop of their division. The Padres were the darling. The Padres are in fourth place right now in that division.
Under 500, right?
Correct. This shows 20-24.
That sounds right.
So they're right there. Fourth in the division, only ahead of the Colorado Rockies with all that money they put in. But let's talk about the Dodgers. They lost both Turners. Trey Turner, he went to join Bryce in Philly. Yep. Justin Turner maxed out in Boston because they paid him. Huge for the clubhouse. Justin mainly, trade because of the field. You have those two dudes you lose. Cody Bellinger's now balling out in Chicago's north side. But they lost all that, didn't gain anyone. They lost their starting shortstop beginning of the season. Clayton Kershaw's pitching out of his mind. Freddie Freeman, the calming influence. The Dodgers are right there as one of the best teams in the league, and they've had no additions.
No.
It's crazy to me.
The only team better in the league is the Rays.
The
Dodgers have the second best record in all Major League Baseball.
How much of the Rays, though, is schedule? I'm not trying to make... You don't think it is?
They beat everybody equally.
Okay, I mean, I get it, but
they hate everybody equally.
They haven't gone through, murderer's row, so to speak. And a lot of teams.
Whoa! They're playing their division, which is the only division with all 5 teams over 500, and they're 32-11.
I don't think they've played everybody though. Like when I was looking at it, they played a lot of last place.
And you do know the divisions don't play as much within a division.
Yeah, which really sucks.
No, I love that.
I don't.
I
love why?
Because
you like to beat up on them shitty Central teams.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
I hate it. I like that they went to a more overall balanced schedule and the fact that interleague play, Major League Baseball is now like the NFL or the NBA. Well, it's more like the NBA. You play everybody. But in the NBA, an Eastern Conference team plays a Western Conference team twice. You're into your division, you still play 5 games. I would like the division not to be at 19 games like it has been or 18 or whatever, but I shouldn't be playing 9 games in my division. Give me 13, 14.
All right, so let me
Let
me ask you a question. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I want to get that off my chest first. But would they ever go to like a East and West style setup?
I think it's possible with Manfred in the helm.
Yeah.
I think it could happen.
I mean, I think especially the more interleague you do, the less and less you feel that nostalgia of only playing your division and maybe your side of the pennant. But
they would love to do that, but they would like to probably add 2 teams before they do that.
So, like, it would give them a reason to do it.
People talk shit about the Rays and the A's, but they're pretty much foregone conclusion. Vegas, and then Orlando, worst case scenario for the Rays, which I hate.
Why even move to Orlando?
My point is, though, there's still 2 capable cities out there that can support an MLB team.
Yeah,
because you've got Vegas going in. I think Tampa stays. Then you still have like Nashville.
I think that Tampa should move to Nashville.
Dude, Nashville.
Put a winner in Nashville. They've proven with the Titans, and then
with what they're doing with the city and downtown, the stadium, and like, come on.
I think if you build a good stadium in Montreal, they would be fanatics.
What they keep saying about Nashville now, I passed through Nashville.
Basketball.
I haven't actually ever spent like a weekend there. My sister enjoys it. They said Nashville is the Vegas of the East. Put a baseball team in there.
I mean, kind of. But
it's becoming that way. They're going to have all 3 pro sports.
Tennessee,
it's definitely an up-and-comer for sure. It's like one of those booming spots.
Tennessee is one of the fastest-growing states. Yeah. Like, everybody's moving there. So, I'd like to see it. Plus, that's another close regional ballpark we could go to. So
yeah, I don't like it pulling from my Braves draw, but if you know what, they won't be down with us. F you.
You got enough of a market in Atlanta, I promise you.
I do like the A's playing on the strip at the Tropicana.
So do they keep it the A's or the Athletics or change it to the Aces?
No, it's going to stay the Athletics. It's got to.
Ooh, who come up with that?
I just did.
You just now.
Yeah.
Well, I already got the women's Aces, though. WNBA.
No one watches it, though.
Yeah.
Tom Brady can only buy into so many franchises.
Oh.
Who's their coach? Becky Hammond. Didn't she just get fined or suspended 2 games?
Yeah, come out pregnancy.
Yeah. She violated workplace ethic.
You should know better. Well, let's switch gears. Go ahead.
One last baseball question for you guys before we switch. Pitcher, catcher, manager, first baseman, whatever, what is the biggest either surprise or disappointment 45 games into the season?
The New York Mets.
Yeah.
Biggest payroll in baseball by $100 million.
And
they
they're
were
dog shit.
correct.
Yeah, there's 3 games under 500.
Yeah.
It's not
They just booed Verlander off the field in his first home start.
biggest surprise, disappointing. Not to me, I'm reveling in the fact, but like the franchise of consistency is in last place in the NL Central.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Did you think the Cardinals would be in last place?
They're always a contender for a wild card spot,
right.
nothing else.
Like without even looking at anything, you're just like, Cardinals, they'll probably be there. They're
Right.
kind of like how you always know the Rays are going to be
Right.
there. So that's a big one to me.
I had two thoughts in my head, and you guys took both of them.
Oh, wow.
Fist bump. Yeah, very nice.
We shut Becky up.
All right, Biggie, you had a challenge necessarily for us to find our top 5 movies of all time. And, you know, frankly, myself, Mr. Brown, I think you're on the same page here with me. We didn't put enough time or effort into this.
I saw the edit on the notepad. I'm like, I don't have the time for this.
You can't just throw anything out there. You know, this is an important thing. Like, this is a representation of who you are as an individual. You can't just not, like, I was going to wing it. You know, just for the sake of you guys.
you can't wing it.
But when I found out, like, you guys weren't completely prepared, so we're going to revisit this next week. But, you know, just to help make a little commitment and get some creative juices and thoughts flowing, you know, what are some of your favorites that are in
I'm just
consideration?
going to name a few movies, and you tell me if these are potential top 5.
Before you say this, I love the fact that I'm so completely different on my movie style categories compared to you because I love to laugh, whereas you don't. So a lot of his are going to be very sinister and very scary.
Laughing is for weird people.
But go ahead.
Okay.
So just
I'm just going to throw some movies out there, and you tell me,
Go
could
ahead,
these
go
be
ahead.
Mount Rushmore, or are they top 5? Forrest Gump.
I mean, it's a great movie, but I don't think it's near my top 5. Oh, the soundtrack would be.
No, soundtrack for sure, movie potentially.
The Departed.
It's a contender.
Love the movie. It could be in there, but there's so many.
When I say bury a guy in the mosh, bury him in the fucking mosh.
It's true.
The original Rocky.
You know, I love the original Rocky, but it's not. I don't like it as many people did at the time, I guess. Like, it's a good movie, but I actually like some of the other ones.
So to me, and people are going to crucify me over this comment,
I might help defend you.
I kind of put the original Rocky, not like screenwriting and all that, but I'm saying my personal appeal to Rocky 5.
Rocky 5.
So
That's a whoa.
let me clarify.
I'm gonna let you. But before you clarify, if you would have said like 2 or 3, hell, even 4, I'm with him. I said I would defend him. But he brought out 5.
That's
the
just
Mandela Effect movie that doesn't really exist. There was never really a Rocky 5.
Correct.
You just bag tagged him.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Cup check.
I've, to this day, never fully watched the original Rocky all the way through
Get out.
because it's boring to me. And I like to start when people are winners, damn it.
Skip the prelude.
So I went straight to number 2.
Yes.
So you put in front of me, I want Apollo. I want Mr. T. I want Drago. Way more than him losing Spider Rico. Not really, but you get the point. Apollo first time. But like, that's where I'm at. Give me those 3 movies over the original or Rocky 5.
And
That's all I'm saying.
The guy in Rocky 5, though, he was a real fighter.
With AIDS.
Tommy Morrison.
Tommy Morrison.
You know how Tommy Morrison got AIDS?
Fighting George Foreman.
Dude, Tommy Morrison was such a horn dog that when he couldn't get it up for the 17th time that day, he'd take a needle and shoot it straight into his dick, and then he'd fuck
A needle of what?
instant boner.
Like, I didn't know you had that in the 80s. We're right
90s.
90s. Is that?
And then he wouldn't wear a rubber and he'd fuck hookers. And that's how he got AIDS.
Wow. I didn't know you could put a needle in that and fix it like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you,
And
Tom.
while he did it, he still found some old Quaaludes and still popped them too.
You know, the trick is you got to stay awake.
Yes.
And then when it's like Ambien.
Exactly.
All right. What other movies, Biggie?
I was going to go with sports one that hits like at the heart. but Field of Dreams.
Nope. I love Field of Dreams. Nowhere near
Oh.
my top.
All right, go ahead. What else you got?
Sorry, sports fans.
Not my top 5 either, period.
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 Do you have more recent films in the last 5 or 10 years you can think of?
The
Because a lot of the
Little
ones I
Mermaid
think of are
remake.
further back that are rated really high.
Dude, I have a bunch. But mine's way different than yours because it's not about like, oh, look at that screenplay. Look at that camera angle.
Well, no, sometimes that stuff matters. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's
Not my
Well,
top
that
5.
was
It's up
one I
there
was
for
going to
me.
mention because I know me and you both love
it's
it.
very high on the list for me. Not sure it's going to be there.
See, like, I like the Godfather trilogy and I love Goodfellas, but I love those kind of movies.
I don't like Goodfellas as much as everybody else does. Don't know why. I love mob movies.
I really, really like Ray
Like-
Liotta pre-Chantex.
We're
I
gonna-
feel like The Departed's way better than that one that you just said.
I do too. So we're talking a lot of more serious dramas and whatnot here.
Star Wars.
What about comedy for you? Star Wars is up there for some people.
Not for, I've never seen it, so.
Wedding Crashers is definitely my top 5 of all time because that's the only time in the history of my life, I'm age 41 now, that I've ever went to a theater. Like I said, like I'm in Boston, that I laughed so hard my abs hurt, like a good night out. I've never had that happen in a theater, and it did with Wedding Crashers, and I've seen it 300 times, and I still laugh.
I am a little jealous that you have that experience of seeing Wedding Crashers in the theater because I've only seen it, on TV, movie channels, whatever. I bet that would be funny. The first time, just imagine the first
very
time you
first
saw
time.
that. That's good shit.
So that's me.
So that's your favorite comedy of all time?
I'd say yeah.
See, I got some that aren't as popular, but I like them.
All that matters is if you like it.
Right, and that's and there's a significant. It's kind of like music, right? Like if you're in a certain mood or you experience something in your life and you associate a song with it. You can do that with movies too. And there's movies when I was younger that I watched so much that it just became part of me. And Mr. Brown can quote movies like few people I know.
Like 30 years ago.
And we're not talking about Rosebud. He's going to the well, and I don't even know what it is. And sometimes he's got to explain it to me.
And then I say it, he's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what that is. So, movies can impact people in very different ways. But, a couple I'll throw out there, Shawshank, definitely up there on the list for me.
So I didn't see that until you made me stop.
I know, until we stopped back from
So I hadn't
here.
saw Shawshank until I was in my late 30s for the first time.
Which, one of the reasons why I have it in such high regard, not just because it's a great movie, but TNT sold their soul to Stephen King or something, and they just showed Shawshank all the time. And
Well, see-
I feel like I always was watching it.
I didn't mention it when I was asking you movies because it's in my top 5. I think it's amazing.
Well,
No,
that's
it's
not-
amazing.
It's not fair to withhold evidence.
No, but just after
Okay,
watching
well-
it for the first time though, and it stood the test of time because it wasn't one of those movies that had to have the great picture play and all that. It was such a good story, great cast, all of it.
The other
So I'm not
Stephen King
saying
movie,
top
too.
5, but would it be top 10, Green Mile?
That's what I was ready to go. It's up there.
It was on the other night, that's why I
It's
asked.
up there. How many Tom Hanks movies can you link back to?
Oh.
Jeez Louise.
Tom Hanks to me is the best actor in the history of acting. Period. For me,
Is he the most likable guy in Hollywood still?
Probably.
maybe, but I feel like he's the most versatile. In my opinion.
Tom Hanks has done everything from where he was a 12-year-old playing adult to Turner and Hooch to. Here's the
Put some
one
respect
thing.
on Turner and Hooch now.
Shrimp, okay.
You always think if you see a celebrity, you want to go up and meet him, that sort of thing. If I were ever getting on a plane or anything and I saw Tom Hanks, I'd get the
You feel
fuck
like you
off
could
that.
talk to him.
Final destination, I'm dipping.
No,
right
he'd
there. I'm
landed.
getting
He'd
out.
landed in the Hudson.
Yeah.
Hell no,
What
that
are
thing
you worried
but
about?
it's crashing. He might live, but I'm not.
One of two things is happening.
He's one of the extras.
You're going to be on an island. Just don't be the flock of birds.
Hey, just make sure you scream because you get paid more. Your
Yes.
family will get paid more.
Yeah, that's like if you ever get to be a zombie in a movie, make sure
Moan.
You got to moan. You can't just move to the background.
See?
I'm trying to think. Are we leaving any movies off the table?
No, so I'm gonna say this. So I know two of my top 5 right now, and I'm gonna tell you it's not because of Rotten Tomatoes says it should be or
No, you
whatever.
can't go off that anyway.
So my Two of my top five, I'm going to tell you right now, is Wedding Crashers, which I discussed, and Major League. For
I
me.
mean, that's
I love Major League.
and like those are respectable
Darn.
top five.
For me, because I remember playing baseball and we went to the movies again. We watched it. And me and Robbie Hart and a few others just quoting every damn line off that movie.
We used to play home run derby when I was a kid, and like you'd always want to pretend like you were Frank Thomas or King Griffey Jr. or whatever. But we would also be Pedro Serrano.
So you was going to say, they're like, I don't be Frank Thomas. Up your butt. F you, Joe Boo, I'll do it myself.
Deliver the line.
I can't even remember the line.
And scene. He's no Tom Hanks, ladies. and
Exactly.
gentlemen.
I'm looking at Joe Boo's locker here, and I got me distracted. F you, Joe Boo, I'll do it myself.
I don't know if I have any I can commit to. Tombstone's close to being a commitment there. And I don't even like Westerns that much, but I love that movie.
See, here's the thing, and I'm really weird because I could go my top 5 movies of all time, and I could easily go my top 5 of ever, John. Like if you go Westerns, I got Tombstone, I got Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, and then there's a bunch of older ones with John Wayne and Clint Eastwood. Then you can go Mafia movies, and I don't know. Doing just your top 5 is so very selective. I feel like you could so much judge someone for having one at 5, and 6 is not good enough to be 5.
So my two best categories are comedy and horror. Complete opposite of the spectrum.
See, I feel like one of your
know both
movies
of
is
them.
going to be Wedding Crashers, and the other one's going to be like Saw or American Horror.
It's not
horror.
Saw.
And I love horror movies, but like historically speaking, horror movies have a hard time finding their way into that top tier.
Yeah.
Like they're not always
Yeah,
They
like-
do for me because I'm looking at overall impact for me.
right, but it's like a smaller audience because there's people that won't watch horror movies.
Right.
You're like, I don't want to get scared.
No, there's so
yeah,
many people
more of
that
a
watch
niche.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
Same people don't ride roller coasters
Right.
and fly on planes or take escalators. You know, you never know.
So the one that really messed with my head the most, the first time I watched it, The Ring.
The Ring, that was good.
The well, and then the TV.
Samara.
I can
Dude,
still
that
remember.
was crazy. You stop.
Wait, have you seen the Halloween costume that one girl does, or it's like Comic Con where she's
I've
like
seen
the
it.
ring? It's
I've
the-
seen it.
Comes out of the
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's cringy.
My favorite thing about The Ring is having Drew Sigmund call me like 3 days later. 7 and just leaving me a voice.
You know that movie also helped Scary Movie. Keep
You have
making all
seen
those
it, right?
spoofs.
What's that?
The
The
Ring.
Ring.
Yeah, that's what it's
Now,
talking
wait,
about.
I know, but you have seen it.
Yes, a lot.
What about,
I watched it originally. I watched it twice, and I've never watched it since then.
What about the sequel?
It's okay.
I didn't like The Ring. It really fucked with me, and I didn't watch the sequel.
Like
Sequel's terrible.
you're the crime guy, and you like that's what I'm saying. It's all or nothing, bro. Laugh or you're gonna die.
Yes, those are my 2 things.
Can we find one where you laugh and die?
Yes.
That's a lot of that's mafia movies. You laugh and then you die.
All right, I want to wrap up with this little question about movies, and then we'll call it a day. Who's the best movie devil of any movie? Since you were talking about horror movies,
Devil.
yeah, like any character.
Villain?
You mean villain?
No, an action Satan, devil, Lucifer.
Schwarzenegger and what's his face?
End of Days?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that actually. I can't remember the actor's name, but Constantine.
Yeah, but he
The
looks
end
like
of
he
that.
looks like Al Pacino.
Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate's a good one too. He does. Al Pacino kind of looks like the devil.
Yeah.
He just kind of does. You put some fire behind him, and he's like, "Whoa!" You know, I'm thinking.
Hello,
I
my
don't know.
little friend.
Play
I know
with
it's
the
a different
fire.
movie, but like Al Pacino plays a really good
You got
bad
one?
guy.
I can't think of a specific devil. I can't.
What about Tim Curry in Legend? You know what I'm talking about?
How about
Big
Tim
horn?
Curry and It?
It's not really a devil.
So
but Tim
I have,
Curry's
I have
awesome.
a thing for you. When I say the name Tim Curry, what's the first movie that comes to mind?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay, I was just curious because where you know Tim Curry from tells me
Yeah.
a lot about you.
What were you going to say?
It was probably it or that, but probably that.
Is anybody saying Clue?
All right, so listen, I can't tell you my best devil, but if you ever watched the movie Legion,
Yeah, the old lady.
from a steak, rare, in the diner. Is that not creepy?
It is.
Have you seen it? Mm-mm. We got to play that clip after we're done because you're going to shit your pants. He was talking about it earlier.
The movie's not even that good.
No, it's that scene.
And it's so early in the movie that everything else feels like a letdown.
Yes. She is a minion from Lucifer himself, and she played it well. So I would rather have talked to Satan than his own man.
Don't send her.
Yes.
I submit.
I will.
Tapping out.
I don't want her.
All right.
I just have one question.
I
know you're getting ready to finish it.
I'll let you finish it.
As we were talking here, top of your head, it has to be your favorite because it's the first one you think of. Any movie ever, what's the first scene that comes to mind?
What?
So your favorite movies, if you're sitting there thinking about a situation, like what pops in your mind?
Of what situation? What kind of vague ass question is this?
What is your favorite
let me finish the show.
What is your favorite saying that comes from a movie?
Oh, my favorite quote?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Why did you say it like that?
I was rounding third and I couldn't pick up the coach base.
No, you were the kid on third when they said run home. You jumped the outfield fence to run home. Favorite quote? God, I can't do it now. I can't.
Just cut it off.
Can I end the show?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening, even to that last part. We love you. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. If you're traveling, be safe like we're going to wish Biggie and Mr. Brown safety. We'll see you same time next week. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.